What do you think is scarier, the idea that we are alone in the universe or the idea that we aren't? Why? That we are alone. Given how massive the universe is in space and time, the idea that Earth is the only place where any life form exists is unsettling. Everyone seems to be assuming that other life means humanoid or intelligent. To me it just means any life form. Carbon-based or made of elements unknown to our galaxy. There has to be something else. The idea that we're alone. Because it would imply that our existence is winning the astronomical lottery and this is all we're trying to do with it. The idea that we are alone. It gives me a feeling of loneliness and that there is not as much out there to look for. Existence would not be as interesting. I think about the ruins of ancient civilizations on other planets and how absolutely fascinating it would be to explore them. I think the scariest thing is that if an asteroid hit Earth right now and destroyed everything, nothing that we know of will recognize any record of anything that ever happened on Earth. There will be nothing to account for the loss of Earth. So if there's nothing out there to do that, then it's like Earth never existed at all. Scary. Edit. Golden record, tree falls in woods, entropy got it. Mathematically there should be life. I think it would be far more frightening, that we are alone. Neither is scary because if we're alone, then we have nothing to worry about. If we're not, then the sheer vastness of space is a pretty good indicator that we're not likely to ever make contact with another intelligent species. I find it more depressing knowing that there are so many galaxies and planets out there, that there must be billions of strange and exotic places that we'll never see or explore. We're pretty much confined to our own solar system unless we develop a technology to skip across time and space, which is scary to imagine. Tell me up, have you read the Three-Body Problem series? That we aren't. If we're alone then we are the best and worst of the universe. I don't want to run into a species worse than us. That we are alone. It would give credence to the simulation theory. Given the number of stars being circled by planets that we can see from Earth, let alone the rest of the universe, the odds are laughably small that on one of those distant planets the same building blocks didn't exist. This planet is not unique. Alone. It's theoretically impossible for us to be alone, but if we're the first last thinking life forms in the universe, that's a depressing thought. 'Cause that means someday, the last human being will die out and that will be the end of all progress. Sure, life will go on, but would another species step up and do better than us? Can they? Will they? I guess the not knowing is the worst part of it. While the idea that we'll never know. There are lots of paradoxes and problems regarding aliens. If they are there at all, have they developed technology advanced enough to create electromagnetic signals, and if yes, why we haven't seen any signs throughout the visible universe? Our civilization can be easily spotted for everyone in a CA 110 light-years radius with radio telescope. And we can't spot anything in billions of light-years around? On the other hand, we have animals on Earth dated hundreds of millions of years, and they haven't evolved into space dwellers. Honestly, it doesn't matter if we are or not alone, we'll never reach to the stars unless we find out how to break laws of physics. The idea that it matters. The idea that regardless of either possibility, there is no saving us from ourselves. That we are alone. The thought that Shrek exists somewhere and would kindly accept us in his swamp in the time of a major catastrophe gives me a good night's sleep. The idea we aren't. Basically any time two entities come into contact there is some kind of power struggle, and the loser is either subjugated or eliminated. The only chance for peace is a coincidental situation where both parties are at the same power, roughly speaking, to where the struggle is known to be too damaging to all parties such that it should be avoided. The idea that we aren't, that could be one of the worst ideas possible. Have you ever heard about the Great Filter Theory? https://u2.bugtig0erm, Or maybe a super civilization that monitors other planets with lives and destroy them once they become too much of a threat to them. Mathematically, we shouldn't be alone. There are too many stars in too many galaxies across a seemingly infinite universe that has already existed for billions of years. So, if we are alone, there has to be a reason for it. And that reason must be terrifying. A wave that wipes out a city is terrifying. A fire that kills everything in a forest is terrifying. We don't have a word to describe the unfathomable horror of confronting the reason why life doesn't exist in the universe. That we are alone, for sure. Now, not saying that is scary, but it's scarier than knowing there are aliens, because if Therese won, then suddenly the odds of more goes up, and given the scale, the possibilities are endless. We could come across aliens that have cures for all diseases and answers to all our questions about the universe, all given to us in the space of a couple days, saving us centuries of scientific research and advancement. This is equally as likely as a predatory alien species that tries to eat us, but generally, when a civilization advances, certainly to the level of space travel, the civilization become more and more peaceful. I know the limits and destructive capabilities of humans. I don't want to have to guess at a species we don't know, and may not be able to communicate with. If we're the best God can do, holy duck. Neither. If we're alone, all we have to do is survive and thrive long enough to uplift creatures to sentience so we aren't alone. Or, we survive long enough to find other civilizations. The scary part for me is that all biological life is just a game. Eventually there is a game over screen for everything, so all of our efforts will eventually be defeated by the ending of the universe. Let me ask you this. You are camping alone in the woods surrounded by darkness and trees, the campfire being your only source of light. Do you fear what you do not see? Those that could possibly lurk between the trees but may not be? It's not probability or knowing that scares us, it's the unknown. Both are scary cause neither gives any answers. Either we somehow came to be the sole inheritors of all existence, or we are but a speck of sand on this beach called life. What's most troubling is that we are not alone, but we will never get to meet anyone because of the vast distances in space. I don't think either option is scary at all. I'm not scared of either of them. Who cares? If aliens get here, they're advanced, and I don't see how they can do that if they aren't aware of consciousness and compassion. If we're alone, so what? It wouldn't feel any different. Neither idea scares me. There is no doubt other intelligent life is out there, and it is not coming here to steal my women or make me its dinner. Neither? Neither are even remotely scary. The idea that we're alone because it means that in the estimated 13.8 billion years the universe has existed, humans are the smartest, luckiest things it has produced. Neither. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters on the scale of the universe. I'm not really scared by either, but that we aren't, I guess. Honestly, why would either choice be scary? 1. We are alone. Okay, how does that change what we are doing now? 2. We are not alone. Okay, the distances are so vast that it's the same as us being alone. Hey, I'm a science fiction fan, so I'd love if we found others out there, but I'm not holding my breath. Neither is scary to me. The cosmos is so vast and huge, and we, as sentient life forms, are quite small and inconsequential. I imagine the same is true for other intelligent life forms if they exist. So, there's really no reason to see either possibility as scary. That we're alone. Because we're ducking up our opportunities so badly by fighting each other. The idea of being alone. Because it would suggest the existence of a god, and that's absolutely terrifying. I think Arthur C. Clarke is scarier. Alone, it would be so much fun to meet an alien race. Imagine all the awesome food they'd have which we have never tried before. Also, they could help inform us on stuff like avoiding conflict, technology and poverty. But think of the awesome alien food we're missing out on. Not even a question considering how vast the universe is. Even if we'll never know, there is life out there, even microbial, which they did find on Mars.